So the topic today is climate. Okay. And this is in fact the first topic for your climatology, for your state PCS examination and UPSC examination. You need to understand, first of all, clearing your state prelims examination is very easy. If you see the question paper from 2007 till 2020, I have not found any question which can't be solved using NCERT. It does not require any advanced understanding of the topic. Okay, it's very simple. Since you have the syllabus which is that of 100% of UPSC, so I will be teaching you in a manner that your state PCS would be cakewalk, but you will be prepared for UPSC in May. Okay, much after your main state PCS mains is over. Okay, so the topic is climate and the factors which affects climate of a particular geography. Okay, so everyday phenomenon, everyday atmospheric phenomena, or factors, what are they? They are weather. Okay, an average of 35 years of weatheric phenomena is help to conclude the average of 35 years of weather phenomena is called climate. So everyday climatic phenomena are recorded: pressure, wind speed, temperature for 35 years in your study of climatology. And then after drawing the average, the climate of a particular place is known. Okay. For example, if we start a day from 5 a.m., okay, ideally it will be taken from 12 a.m. okay, and ends at 12 p.m. So, but in geography, does the day starts from 5 a.m.? No, it starts from the time of sunrise. So time of sunrise will be taken, and it will be different for different geography. So somewhere it will be around 5:30 a.m. Okay, so we'll take that only 5:30 a.m. and the night ends somewhere 5:29 a.m. and this average of temperature will be seen. Okay, so what you will see, during daytime the maximum temperature is 40, and during night time somewhere at 2 o'clock it is 20. Okay, and this way it will be there. So this range, the difference between max and mean of a daytime temperature and a nighttime temperature is known as diurnal range. ओके, डेली जो मैक्सिमम और मिनिमम है उसे डायूर्नल रेंज कहेंगे. ठीक है, और जो ईयरली है, ठीक है, जनवरी, दिसंबर, इसका एवरेज टेम्परेचर लिया जाएगा जनवरी मंथ का. ठीक है, मान लो 10 डिग्री है, जुलाई में आपका 40 डिग्री है, अगस्त में आपका 30 डिग्री है, और फिर दिसंबर आते आते आपका 10 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड हो जाता है. ठीक है, तो ये आपका एनुअल रेंज है. ठीक है. So just before I begin the topic, I want you to be very rational. Okay. So how will I develop your rationality? I will ask questions, and you have to be very participative in understanding those questions. Okay. Where the diurnal range of temperature will be maximum? At which place the diurnal range of temperature will be maximum? At which place the annual range of temperature will be maximum? At which place? Answer it.
Diurnal,
हाँ
Rajasthan.
हाँ Rajasthan, but Rajasthan is name of a state. I'm asking you which place.
Jaisalmer.
I'm again asking you in geographical terms. Can you tell which place?
Desert.
Desert. Okay. And for annual range of temperature to be maximum, which place or which area will have annual range of temperature maximum? ये तो आपने
Plain.
जवाब दे दिया, स्टेट पीसीएस में आ जाएगा आपके, या एसएससी में आ जाएगा. नो, लेट मी आस्क, एनुअल रेंज के लिए कौन सा जगह में आपका टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस मैक्सिमम होगा? द प्लेसेस वेयर द प्लेसेस विच आर अप कंट्री साइड और कॉन्टिनेंटल एरियाज. कॉन्टिनेंटल एरियाज. ठीक है. व्हाट इज कॉन्टिनेंटल एरिया? व्हाट इज कॉन्टिनेंटल एरिया? ठीक है. देखो, टेम्परेट में नहीं होगा. समवन ऑफ यू हैव आंसर्ड टेम्परेट. नहीं होगा. आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू. ओके. सो व्हाट इज द सोर्स ऑफ टेम्परेचर? व्हाट इज द सोर्स ऑफ हीट? ठीक है. व्हाट इज द सोर्स ऑफ हीट? ठीक है. द सोर्स ऑफ हीट is insulation. Insulation. And this is the first topic, subtopic of the day. So this is the first topic of the day. So what is insulation? The radiation received by Earth. And from where does Earth receives these radiation? Solar rays. Okay. And what are solar rays? Can any one of you tell me what are solar rays? You will be wrong. I know it. That's the reason I have asked this question. But you will have to attempt it to understand why you are missing your prelims all the time. What are solar rays which is received by Earth?
Heat waves.
ठीक है. देखो, solar rays are definitely made up of photons. Okay, someone has answered this. Photons are energy packets. ठीक है. But the thing which I wanted to know, or which anyone will try to know what is solar ray is actually made up of, are ultraviolet rays, visible white light, and infrared rays. They are majorly made up of these three things. तो अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज और इंफ्रारेड रेज के बीच में आपका आता है व्हाइट लाइट. ठीक है. व्हाई इट इज नोन एज व्हाइट लाइट? बिकॉज इट इज व्हाइट इन कलर. ओके. एंड देयर इज नो डिस्प्यूट अबाउट इट. And this white light is consisting of 7 different colors. Vibgyor. Okay. And what actually happens is that this is our Earth. Okay. Earth. And the amount of solar radiation which reaches its surface is only 51%. I'm talking about the amount of heat radiation reaching its surface. Okay. Surface. ठीक है. पहले क्या होता है 35% जो आता है ना वो तो डायरेक्टली रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाता है इमीडिएटली 35% इज रिफ्लेक्टेड इमीडिएटली. ठीक है. इसको कहते हैं डायरेक्ट रिफ्लेक्शन. ठीक है. 14% is absorbed. Kindly start taking notes from your here on. Is absorbed by majorly what? Greenhouse gases. Their absorbing capacity is high, such as CO2, water vapor. Okay, can you tell me what is the percentage of carbon dioxide we have in our atmosphere? The world is crying that there is so much of carbon released, carbon dioxide is in air. Okay, it is somewhere about 0.02 to 0.03%. Okay, it is somewhere around that only. That's it. तो आपका कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इतना ही है. तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड से ज्यादा पोटेंशियल वाटर वेपर्स का है. ट्रू या फॉल्स? वाटर वेपर्स का पोटेंशियल फॉर एब्जॉर्बिंग हीट इज मोर कंपेयर टू कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. यू मस्ट नो इट. ठीक है. अब द नेक्स्ट थिंग इज दैट when the solar radiation is received by the earth, when the solar radiation is received by the earth, what are the ways of these radiation being absorbed by the earth? Okay, so the solar is a form of energy. Solar radiation is a form of energy, and energy most of the time you will find is hot. Most of the time is hot. ठीक है. आप बोलोगे नहीं सर हमेशा हॉट होता है. नहीं. हैव यू सीन नाइट फ्लाई? इट इज आल्सो एमिटिंग लाइट. लाइट एनर्जी इज देयर बट इट इज नॉट हॉट. ओके. सो this solar radiation is bringing with its heat, and this heat must be utilized by the earth. Okay, and this heat is transferred in our atmosphere, on surface of the earth, and in the water bodies. Okay, so we'll stick ourselves to the atmospheric phenomena only and the transfer of heat over there. So the transfer of heat basically happens through three processes. Number one, conduction. Number two, convection. And number third, radiation. Kindly note it down. So what is difference between conduction and radiation? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between conduction, convection, and radiation? What is the basic difference which separates radiation from conduction and convection? Any basic difference which separates conduction, convection, and radiation? This is sun. This is sun. And this is earth. Atmosphere. In between earth and sun, what is there? Vacuum. and sun is radiating its heat towards earth. Okay, when we will become closer to the sun, the heat on earth will increase by default. And when we'll be away from the sun, the heat from on earth will be relatively less. As you go on the planet nearer to the sun, what you will find that those planets are having high heat compared to earth. Second, those planets atmosphere is also relatively thinner compared to earth, and there are two different reasons for it. But here I will say that sun is able to radiate its heat towards earth because radiation does not even require a medium. Does not require a medium. A medium. ठीक है. अब देखिए कंडक्शन में क्या होता है. ठीक है. This is your earth surface. ठीक है. And there is a mass of air over here. Mass of earth, block of earth. Okay, and there is relatively no wind blowing. They are different in the city area. There are different structure in each street. You'll find that there is air. In Delhi, when we were preparing in Rajendra Nagar, so during summer, when the streets behind two houses were very close, hardly of 5 feet, they were relatively colder compared to the main streets from where we have to go. So during summer, we used to walk from one street to another street in between the houses, which were very narrow. Okay, it was relatively very cooler. Okay, why? Because the sun's insolation was not reaching over there. But when we were going to the main street, sun's insolation was reaching over there, plus the air over there was also very hot. Why? Because of conduction. Okay, conduction is direct heating of the air in touch with earth. Direct heating of air. ठीक है, in touch with earth. Okay. So if there is direct heating of air which is in touch with earth, what will happen next? The air after becoming heated will rise. Okay. The air at the top, which is relatively cooler, will become heavier and it will be pushed down, and here it will be lying. Okay, again becoming heated, it will rise up, and this process will go on. This will set in convection current. Current. So this is what convection happens. ठीक है, तो इसमें होता क्या है? बेसिकली ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ हीट is happening. Transmission of heat is happening. ठीक है, by upward movement or circulation of air. Okay, by upward movement and circulation of air. Okay, this air current which is set in is also called as convectional current. Okay. Third, I have told you radiation. Okay. So radiation is without transfer, without any medium for transfer, the earth is getting heated up. Okay. And radiation is in the form of insolation, which is from ultraviolet to your white light to your infrared rays. Majority of your ultraviolet is utilized, is shielded in stratosphere. Okay. We'll talk about in atmosphere chapter, and then when we will proceed for precipitation and rainfall. Okay. Next, differential heating of land and water. Okay. This you need to understand the after effect of insolation received by earth. Okay. We have a new entrant. Can you name yourself? 29543294558. Because such anonymous entry will not be entertained, and at least you need to name yourself. चलो नहीं बता रहा है, कोई बात नहीं. Differential heating of land and water. Water is transparent. Water is mobile. It has mobility. Okay. So what actually happens? The penetration of sun's ray or radiation is deeper inside water, and water is always in a state of movement. So the distribution of heat, the distribution of heat will be on larger area. Of heat is on larger area. Okay. And greater depth. Okay. Since the distribution of heat is over larger area and greater depth, so it will take time for the surface temperature to increase. Okay. And specific heat capacity of the water is also very high compared to land. So what is specific heat capacity? So what is the specific heat capacity? For every 1 degree increase in temperature, the amount of heat needed is specific heat capacity. For example, for 1 liter of water, okay, enclosed inside 1 unit cube of vessel, unit cube, ये यूनिट कुछ भी हो सकता है, मीटर हो सकता है, ठीक है, यूनिट क्यूब, ठीक है, ऑफ वॉल्यूम ऑफ वाटर, ठीक है, इनसाइड ए वेसल, इसमें आपका 1 यूनिट क्यूब ही होगा. इसमें आपको जो हीट जनरेट किया है, ठीक है, मान लो आफ्टर सर्टेन टाइम इट रीचेस 20. ओके. So how long the heat will be provided and what amount of heat will be provided to reach 21 degree centigrade? ये जो 1 डिग्री राइज के लिए अमाउंट ऑफ हीट दिया गया एक्स्ट्रा, दैट इज योर स्पेसिफिक हीट कैपेसिटी. ठीक है. सो द स्पेसिफिक हीट कैपेसिटी ऑफ वाटर इज मोर देन दैट ऑफ लैंड. ओके. और लैंड के साथ क्या है? Land is opaque. Opaque matlab it is not transparent. Okay, the entire amount of sun's ray is blocked by the surface. Okay, and the temperature of the surface will rise quickly compared to water. Okay, and those who get heated quickly, जैसे गुस्सा जल्दी आता है उनका गुस्सा जल्दी शांत भी होता है. Those who get angry very quick, they lose their temper very quick. Those people also get out of that very zone very quickly. Why? Because as quickly as you receive the heat, you have the capacity to dissipate it as well. So land will get heated quickly, the temperature will rise quickly, and during night, it will get cooled off quickly. Cooled off quickly in absence of heat. That is not with water. For example, आप चावल बनाए हो और आप दाल बनाए हो, ठीक है, तो दाल आप सेम टेम्परेचर पे बना के रख दो, चावल आप सेम टेम्परेचर पे बना के रख दो, ठीक है. जब आप आओगे तो आप देखोगे कि चावल जो होता है ना, भले उसने टाइम कम लिया हीट होने के लिए, ठीक है, कंपेयर टू दाल, ठीक है, जिसमें पानी ज्यादा है, ठीक है. चावल नहीं, कुछ और एग्जांपल दे सकता हूँ, ठीक है, जो ज्यादा सॉलिड हो. सो व्हेन यू कम बैक you will see that they have lost their heat also quickly in absence of further heating. So this differential heating of land and water is essential to understand climatic factors or the elements which affects climate. Why? Because the earth's surface is either made up of oceanic features or the continental crust. Okay, so next topic is elements of climate and factors affecting them. Elements of climate and factors affecting them. Okay. So what are the elements of the climate? The elements of the climates are temperature, precipitation, pressure, and winds. These are the elements of the climate. Okay. If I have to define the climate of northeastern part of India compared to that of Delhi, what I will say? I will say high amount of rainfall in northeastern part of India. Okay. The temperature over there is relatively pleasant compared that to of Delhi. Some of you may say coming from Nagaland to Guwahati, sir यहाँ बहुत गरम है. Sir आप दिल्ली आइए, गर्मी is a relative phenomena. You will get to know what actually garam is. Okay. Rainfall, yes, is very high in Kohima. Okay. It rains from April to October over there. Flood is very high in Assam. Okay. Temperature is relatively milder when I am comparing it to the summer of Delhi. This year in Delhi, for 7 days, the average temperature clocked, the peak temperature clocked 53 degrees centigrade, 7 days. And I remember, in spite of so many green shaded area around my house, my flat, okay, it's in DDA area. Till 2 o'clock, also the floor of my house was very warm. I could feel the heat. Okay, such amount of difference is there in the climatic condition compared to Delhi to that of Assam. So why there is so much of difference? I have taught in Assam, so I don't need AC over there during July, to be very honest. But in Delhi, it's not possible to have AC off till your September end while you are teaching in the classes. Okay. So why there is such a difference? Because the climatic condition of a place depends upon various factors. So what are those factors? Latitude, altitude, continentality, oceanic current, we have discussed insolation. So we'll also discuss how insolation varies at different latitude and altitude. Okay. Prevailing winds, topography of a place. In topography, we'll discuss about slope, soil. We may include vegetation or we'll keep vegetation separately. Okay. Why do you think vegetation is also a factor which affects the temperature of a place? What is the phenomena which assists in making an area relatively cooler? Because of vegetation. What role do they play? Okay. You know that plant loses also certain amount of extra water through leaves from stomata, and that process is known as transpiration. Okay. Second, the vegetation also keeps the area relatively its moisture intact. It also keeps the area shaded. So these are few factors which are deciding factor in the climatic condition of a place. Can you tell me with an example how does vegetation will ensure that the climatic conditions of two different places are different because of difference in vegetation? Though vegetation is an outcome of geography, it is not something which is not going to, it is very dynamic. It is also affecting the geography where it is being grown. Can you give me a relevant example? Have you heard of forest fire? How many of you have heard about forest fire? Natural forest fire, not the Zoom cultivation forest fire. All of you are aware of it, right? So can you name me the states of India where there is high incidences of forest fire? And it has been in news, and I am expecting this question in UPSC for a very long period of time. See, Uttarakhand is always in news during March. Okay. And there are incidences of highest forest fire over there in March in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. In spite of so much of vegetative cover, and this forest fire is an outcome of that vegetation over there. That vegetation has been introduced artificially over there by the Britishers, that is pine tree. And this pine tree have needle-like leaves, which were not naturally found over there. What was naturally found over there? Devdars. So Devdar were removed by the Britishers, and Devdar lake takes very longer period of time to grow, and they have huge wood. So these woods were commercially exploited and removed and replaced by pine, which grows at relatively faster rate. But the problem with pine flower and pine needle and pine wood is that they will immediately catch fire. And because of this, there is rampant cases of forest fire. Okay. The native tree, Devdar and Bhoj tree were replaced by pine tree. And that is one of the reasons how it has affected the climates of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Okay. So we'll discuss each topic, each factor one by one. Kasi, you are a student or you are teaching somewhere? Because you, sir, you have a prefix doctor. So might be you are a faculty somewhere, lecturer or something like that. Okay. So now let's begin with temperature. What was the first one? Temperature, element of climate. Okay. Temperature. And what was the first factor? Latitude. Temperature and first factor is latitude. Okay. देखो, ये आपका अर्थ है 0 डिग्री 23.5 degree north, 23.5 degree south, 66.5 degree north, 90 degree. Okay. This is your sun. I have taken it relatively bigger this time, just for representational purpose. Okay. But this sun is almost at infinity, very far. And this earth is also tilted by its axis. ठीक है, ये दोनों सेम है, ये और ये. ठीक है, अलग दिखा रहा हूं आपके समझाने के लिए. ठीक है. So there is one ray which is R1, and there is another ray coming out of sun which is R2. Okay. So R1 over here will be perpendicular to this plane. R1 will be very much perpendicular to this plane. R2 will be slanting, and it will have to travel more distance in atmosphere. So if it is traveling more distance in atmosphere, and atmosphere is made up of what? Gases, particles, solid particles, water vapor. So either it will get absorbed, or it will get, majority part of it will get dispersed, scattered, absorbed, reflected. Okay. Acha, one thing I must tell that you should always remember: scattering and dispersion are two major reasons why the sky appears blue. But आपको अगर ऑप्शन में दिया जाएगा रिफ्लेक्शन, रिफ्रैक्शन, anything associated with light, scattering, dispersion, reflection, refraction, तो सारे में ऑल ऑफ दिस कर देना। यूपीएससी हैज गिवन दिस इन 2013, आई रिमेम्बर व्हेन वी वर गिविंग, और अपने आंसर में उसने सारे दिखाया था। क्योंकि परसेंटेज वाइज 0.01 है, बट एवरी वन इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर स्काई अपियरिंग ब्लू, बट मेजर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है स्कैटरिंग और डिस्पर्सन की। तो मेंस में ये लिखिएगा। प्रीलिम्स में आपको जो ऑप्शन में आएगा रिफ्रैक्शन, रिफ्लेक्शन, स्कैटरिंग, डिस्पर्शन, तो ऑल ऑफ इट कर जाइएगा। ठीक है। So the intensity of radiation received over here will be very less compared to the radiation received over here. So in smaller area near equator, high amount of heat will be received, and in temperate area very less amount of heat will be received. And because of very less amount of heat being received, it will be relatively cooler, और ये hotter होगा। ठीक है। सेम डायग्राम मैं इधर बता रहा हूं। ये आपका इक्वेटोरियल एरिया। ठीक है। सेम अमाउंट ऑफ लेंथ, ये एरिया लीजिए आप, टेम्परेट एरिया में लो, टेम्परेट में लो। ठीक है। ये रिलेटिवली कूलर है, ये रिलेटिवली हॉट है। ठीक है। तो रिलेटिवली हॉट होने की वजह से क्या होगा, एयर विल राइज अप। जहां तक जा सकता है जाएगा। कहां तक जा सकता है एयर, कहां तक जा सकता है? आपका जो सरफेस एयर है, हाउ फार कैन इट गो? It can go up to tropopause. Why it can't go beyond tropopause? What is preventing it? Stratosphere is made up of ozone layer, and ozone is very heavy. Okay, इसका आपका 48 m/g है इसका वेट। ठीक है। एयर का वेट रिलेटिवली बहुत कम है, रिलेटिवली बहुत कम है। ठीक है। इट इज ए मिक्सचर ऑफ नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन एंड अदर गैसेस, सो रिलेटिवली इसका कम है। सो व्हेन इट ट्राइज टू ब्रीच, इट अपीयर्स एज ए वॉल। तो यहाँ पे हो जाता है। तो जहां से एयर इवोपरेट हो रहा है वहां क्या बन रहा है, लो प्रेशर जोन। ठीक है। और यहाँ पे सारा एयर जाके एक्यूमुलेट हो रहा है, तो ये क्या बन रहा है, हाई प्रेशर जोन। ये समझ में आया या नहीं? यहाँ समझना होगा आपको। ठीक है। तो लो प्रेशर जोन से उधर जाकर के हाई प्रेशर जोन बन जा रहा है। ठीक है। यहाँ पे रिलेटिवली कूलर है, तो कन्वेक्शन कंडक्शन जो हो रहा है उसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है, एयर सेटल डाउन कर रहा है। तो ये क्या हो जा रहा है, सारे एयर इसके पास आ रहे हैं, तो ये आपका बन रहा है हाई प्रेशर जोन। तो रिलेट हाई प्रेशर डैश। ठीक है, क्योंकि मुझे डिफरेंस दिखाना है ना, हाई प्रेशर डैश। और ऊपर में क्या बन रहा है, लो प्रेशर डैश। ठीक है। एयर, where to where the air will flow, where will the quantity of air high? Over here the quantity of air will be very high compared to this place. ठीक है। So the air will move from this area towards this area. ठीक है। मैं प्रेसिपिटेशन चैप्टर में आपको पूरा डिटेल में समझाऊंगा। ठीक है। अभी ये सिर्फ समझ लो, बिकॉज एट डिफरेंट प्लेसेस दिस लॉजिक विल कम इनटू पिक्चर। ठीक है। Here it is getting heated up, rising up, getting accumulated, so it is becoming high pressure area. So here it is low pressure area because all the airs are coming down. So from high pressure it will move towards low pressure. So on a planetary scale also this kind of cell will come into formation. ठीक है। जहां पे आपका हीट डेसिपेशन थ्रू कन्वेक्शनल करंट होगा, बट इट इज एज ए एट ए वेरी कॉन्टिनेंटल स्केल, प्लानिटरी स्केल, इट्स वेरी हाई। और ऐसे 3 मेजर सेल हैं, but there are numerous other cells at different places. That's the reason meteorological department finds it so challenging to predict when there will be cloud burst, when there will be sudden change in weather phenomena, cyclone formation, because at local level also there are so many things happening. Okay? So in the previous diagram, we have taught you about insolation received, and because of insolation, what kind of convectional currents set up. Okay? Bus. Next, altitude. ठीक है, तो ऑल्टीट्यूड में क्या हो रहा है? ठीक है, a person is over here and a person is over here. ठीक है, यहां पे दो चीज आपको समझना होगा. पहला चीज है, लार्जर सरफेस एरिया कहां पे है? प्लेन में है. प्लेन. ठीक है, so more amount of heat is received by surrounding area, temperature rises quickly because land. ठीक है, more gases particle around here, ये second factor है. ठीक है, the heat trapped is high here, less denser the gases, and the surrounding area surface is relatively much less. ठीक है, तो less conduction. ठीक है, less convection, less conduction, less convection. In the previous class, I have taught you the role of gases. Okay, here I am adding to it the role of surface area. So more heat will be over here, and here cooler. Okay, and here it will be more heat. So during daytime, what will happen? High amount of heat, relatively cooler. So this kind of cycle will also come into picture. ठीक है, ये altitude का हो गया. And because of this altitude difference, for every 165 meter of altitude, there is decrease of 1 degree centigrade of temperature. ठीक है, and we all know that atmosphere is heated by both conduction and convection. ठीक है, yesterday I have only told you the effect of convection. Okay, today you should also understand the effect of conduction because of surface area. Convection because of density of gases. ठीक है, next, third factor is continentality. कॉन्टिनेंटालिटी का मतलब क्या होता है ना, देखो, the places which are nearer to ocean, they are known as maritime area. Okay, because of the differential heating of land and ocean, again a set of convection current is formed. Why? Land get heated quickly, ocean takes time to heat up, so the air above the ocean during daytime will be cold. Okay, and on land during daytime air will be hot, so it will rise up. The cold air will replace, Since the cold air is coming over here, the temperature will be under check. Temperature moderate. Okay. Whereas in up country side, continental side, there is huge swaths of land, no huge water body in sight. So entire area is getting heated up very quickly. For 2-3 months, extreme amount of heat is absorbed during summer. So heat will be high. During winter, no sunshine, relatively very less sunshine. So in absence of insolation, what is happening? Becoming colder, colder, colder. So during winter, cold, during summer, high. So here the annual range of temperature will be high. Why? Because of continentality factor. This place during winter, the land will be cold and the ocean will be hot. So the breeze will be blowing this way. And during winter, the ocean will be relatively hot and land will be relatively cold. So the hot air again from the ocean will moderate the temperature at maritime areas. यहां तक समझ में आया? समझ में आया ना? देखो नेक्स्ट, ये आपका अर्थ है, ठीक है. सो बाय डिफॉल्ट what will happen? The area near poles will be cold. Area near equator will be hot. ठीक है, poles cold. So hot water, it will expand. Cold water, it will contract. So uneven leveling of ocean. So water has got this tendency that it will try to level up everything. So the hot wave will go from equator towards pole, and the cold wave will flow from poles towards equator. So if you go and see the NCERT book, all the hot waves are moving from equator towards pole, and there is no exception. जितना है आपका गल्फ स्ट्रीम, कोल्ड वेव आ रहा है तो लेब्राडोर स्ट्रीम आप जाकर के देखो, ठीक है. सो व्हेन द हॉट वेव्स आर मूविंग अप, they are making those areas which are in touch with them warm and keeping the port frost free. ओके, एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको बता देता हूं. वेस्टर्न यूरोप, because of North Atlantic drift. Okay, so the port of Western Europe are ice free for the majority period of time, whereas in case of Northeast Canada, from the poles, they are receiving Labrador current, and because of that, the ports area in this area receives cold current. It freezes the ports. Okay, so this is how the oceanic current affect the temperature of a latitude. ठीक है. Next we will see is slopes. If you open world map, you will see Himalayas are in which orientation? This is north, this is south, this is west, this is east. If you see Western Ghat, Indian map में दिखा रहा हूँ, वर्ल्ड कहाँ दिखा रहा हूँ आप लोगों को, ठीक है? This is north, south, this is west, this is east, ठीक है? Europe में which mountain range is there in Europe? I am forgetting. Alps. मैं Andes से confuse कर रहा था. Alps. The formation of Alps is something like this. West, east. Okay. You compare this area, which area will receive good amount of sun? Sun यहाँ पे है relatively. ठीक है? Himalaya, Alps, Western Ghat. ठीक है? So the area which receives more sunshine, they have more agricultural practices. Why more agricultural practices? Because photosynthesis needs good amount of sunshine. So this area, coffee plantation in Coorg, it is on the eastern side of Western Ghat. Mangalore, eastern side of Western Ghat. रत्नागिरी, यहाँ पे कोस्टल इन्फ्लुएंस ज्यादा है, ठीक है? रत्नागिरी में, ठीक है, ये कोस्ट के कारण है यहाँ पे. मैंगो, ठीक है. नासिक, यहाँ हायर इंसुलेशन है, ठीक है. इटली, स्पेन, स्पेन नहीं इटली, ठीक है. हाई अमाउंट ऑफ डेंसिटी, वाइन कल्टीवेशन, ठीक है. फ्रांस भी ले सकते हो, ठीक है, अंडरस्टैंडिंग के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, ठीक है. लेकिन स्विट्जरलैंड देखो, इधर कुछ नहीं है उसमें, तो क्या होता है? बैंकिंग फैसिलिटी डेवलप किया है. इन एब्सेंस ऑफ नेचुरल कुछ नहीं था, तो बैंकिंग फैसिलिटी डेवलप कर लिया. नाउ इन मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड इट इज स्कीइंग फैसिलिटी बिकॉज ऑफ हायर स्नोफॉल, ठीक है. सो इंसुलेशन अफेक्ट्स द ज्योग्राफी, and geography is getting in turn affected because of insulation, and it is also affecting its agricultural practices, and it is also affecting population density, agricultural practices, population density, ठीक है. ये एक कोरिलेशन है, ठीक है. So before I close, I need to go for slopes as well. You need to understand the effects of slopes, topography, ठीक है. Topography. How many of you have gone to Manali or Kasol? Because these are the best example I can tell you in India. I have not been to the interiors of Arunachal. I have been up to Zero Valley. So the best possible example I can give you over here is Manali and Kasol. See, if you go to Manali and Kasol area, you will find that, or even in Rudraprayag area, okay, in Uttarakhand, you will find that people are, देखो रुद्रप्रयाग में तो पिलग्रिमेज है, पर अगर आप रूरल बेल्ट में जाओगे वहां पे, तो आप देखोगे वेयर डू पीपल स्टे मोस्ट? एट द टॉप, इन बिटवीन, और इन द बैंक ऑफ रिवर साइड, इफ देयर इज अ रिवर फ्लोइंग. कहाँ पे पब्लिक ज्यादा रहेगी? वेयर विल बी द पॉपुलेशन हाई? where will be the agricultural practices high? Okay. Someone is saying river side, someone is saying in the middle. Let's see. Okay. For example, let's consider majority of the time sky will be clear. Clear. During daytime, which area will receive the good amount of heat? The area which is receiving the maximum insolation. And after insolation, the area which is exposed to the more area, heated area, more heated area. Okay. Relatively less heated area, no insulation. So they will get heated up. So during night time, this area warm air will be there after evening. So this area will be, sorry, during daytime warm air will be there. Okay. This area has not received any insulation. Okay. But it is totally, what to say, isolated, blanketed. Okay. So during daytime, it has received very much warm air. Okay. So during night time, this land will become cooler. The warm air has gone up. The air which is in direct touch will get colder. Okay. And this blanket of air has been isolated totally. So this colder air, what will happen? It will become heavier. And after becoming heavy, it will go down the slope. And it will replace the colder air. Sorry, it will replace the warmer air. Okay. So after midnight, what will happen? This air will become very cold just before sunrise. Very cold sunrise. And this air, which is relatively warmer, it will go up. So during night time, the people which are staying over here, they will face stream of cold winds. And during 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock, it will become extremely cold over here. And the agricultural practices or the grains or the fruits which are being grown on their leaves, frost formation will happen. And this will give birth to frost bites to the leaves, to the trees, to the fruits. And the warm air, relatively warmer air, has set in after midnight from this side. So people over here will have relatively warmer night. And during night time, the crops here will have moderate temperature. So whenever if you go to the narrow Parvati Valley, you will find that maximum orchard formation are in middle. People, those who are rich, they are occupying this place. ठीक है. अगर कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी नहीं हो रहा है तब, ठीक है, कमर्शियल एक्टिविटी हो रहा है तो रोड साइड यहाँ से लोग जा रहे हैं, तो यहाँ पे आप देखोगे पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है. बट आउटसाइड द कमर्शियल एरिया यू विल फाइंड द विलेजेस आर ओवर हियर. Okay, this area, not in the valley area because of water over there. ठीक है, वाटर कोल्ड है, ठीक है, उसके ऊपर एयर क्या है, कोल्डर है, इंसुलेशन भी रिसीव नहीं कर रहा है, ठीक है. सो दिस वे यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, एंड दिस मूवमेंट ऑफ colder air from the slope of the mountain replacing the warmer air in the valley during midnight is known as katabatic current. ठीक है.